Great to have you all here today. I appreciate the level of engagement, and I know that you guys come in with certain questions about how this year is going to go because we're in a little different space than we were in other years. So trust me, we're going to do well this year. And I want to start out with a little story. My wife took me out to dinner on my birthday last week, and we went to a restaurant in downtown Schenectady that specializes in Italian food that we've been to a couple times before. Our past experiences there were positive, meaning both the food and the service were good. Well, this time my wife advised the staff when she called in to make reservations that it was my birthday, and she wanted a piece of cake with a candle on it brought out after dinner. So we arrive at 7, we get seated, we place our food order, including an appetizer, and we thought the restaurant was fairly crowded for a Monday night. And the gentleman who filled our water glasses told us this was the norm for a weeknight crowd. So we get some warm Italian bread brought out, and then it seemed like it took forever to get our salads. It's like 15 minutes. Then our waitress says, well, the chefs are a bit overwhelmed tonight because it's more crowded than usual. And that was a different perspective than the guy filling our water had. So then it was another 15 minutes, and we asked our waitress about the appetizer, and then, oh, she's got the guilty look on her face because she forgot to place the order. Wait another 15 minutes. Then we wait another 15 minutes for our basic Italian entrees, like rigatoni and pasta and ravioli and meatballs. So then we come out, the meat sauce is bland, it's watery, and it's very unlike the Italian that I'm used to. So my wife had a few bites and said, I can't eat this. So we talked to the waitress, she apologizes, she asks if my wife wants to order something else on the menu, she thought about it and says no. I ate the ravioli, not a lot of flavor to it, not that handmade pasta that you're used to, right? And it was just kind of like the frozen kind. It tasted like the frozen kind, right? So our waitress agrees to take my wife's entree and the meatball order off the bill. And then she also never acknowledged that it was my birthday, even though they were supposed to let her know, so there was a lack of communication there. So you see where this is going? We're dealing with lack of communication, and we're dealing with now the manager has to come by our table. My wife's disappointed and the service fails and the food not being up to snuff, especially since it's my birthday, right? She's trying to treat me. So I said we were impressed the 2 other times we were there, but the chefs and our waitresses were off their game tonight. So she understood, appreciated our honesty. I told my wife, which I'm sure you guys have told each other, right? Our waitress is earning a much lower tip tonight because the experience wasn't good. And so when the waitress comes back with the bill, she just asked my wife to sign for it. So the bill had been reduced by the manager to 0. So they wanted our business back, right? No tip, free meal, request by the manager to give them another try down the road. But the financial savings aside, what are we going to remember? The poor dining experience we had at this place, right? And we're not going to go back there for a while. And I don't know how long that's going to be. We're not going to be recommending that restaurant to our friends. That's what the experience is, right? So contrast that recent experience to what I call viral word-of-mouth marketing that took place a few years ago in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So what is Philly known for food-wise? Oh, the cheesesteak. So envision this scenario. You decide to open a new restaurant in Philly specializing in cheesesteaks in a market that's already saturated with at least 20 established food venues featuring their own version of the world-famous cheesesteak. Doesn't sound like a smart idea up front, does it? So you don't have any money on top of that to do upfront advertising to tout that grand opening of your facility in the heart of Philadelphia. But Steven Starr came up with the outrageous idea of offering a $100 Philly cheesesteak to customers. It's crazy, right? I can get a good Philly cheesesteak loaded in this area for less than $10. So can you. Listen to the description, though, of this delectable entree. It starts with a homemade brio roll brushed with their in-house mustard. layered with sliced Kobe beef, marbleized to perfection, caramelized onion, shaved heirloom tomatoes, triple cream Telaggio cheese, topped with shaved hand-harvested black truffles, topped with a buttered, poached Maine lobster tail. And to top it off, to this outrageous culinary experience, it's then served with a chilled split of Vogue Clougot champagne. The Barkley Philly cheesesteak became the top-selling cheesesteak in the city of brotherly love, where cheesesteaks originated, because no one else was doing a cheesesteak that way. Price didn't matter. In fact, if you Google the Barkley Philly cheesesteak, it now sells for $120. And food critics rave it's the best in all of Philly. And so is the dining experience at Steven Starr's Barkley Prime restaurant. He used the power of social currency to make his restaurant unique. Customers end up telling their friends about this outrageous Philly cheesesteak, and groups of 6, 8 friends start coming in, and they order one Philly cheesesteak as an appetizer for their table before they order main course entree items, just so they could share the experience of the Barkley's Philly steak and tell all of their friends and split the cost. Jonah Berger, in his book Contagious, says that word of mouth is the most powerful way that customers can tell for you, with a unique message touting the experience. So if you think about United Healthcare's marketplace dynamic in upstate New York, $17 premium for the first time on our zero premium foundational regional PPO plan that we've hitched our wagon to for consistent Medicare Advantage growth for the past decade. Can we take our belief level with members and prospects to a whole new level around differentiated, even exceptional member experience this AEP? Can we take our eyes off of some of the higher copays and premiums we're seeing this fall to continue to offer the only true regional PPO in the marketplace and share member experiences that will resonate with prospects because of our consistent approach in the market? There are 5 keys that Berger touts that we can leverage in our competitive MA market this fall, and it has nothing to do with price and premiums, but everything to do with a feel-good experience that our members and prospects will want to share with our friends. The key, though, is your belief and passion. Number 1, social currency. We offer an experience that is unique, that is for our members and far ahead of what the competitors are doing. The default competition approach, trashing UHC when their agents talk to consumers about that new zero premium local PPO or HMO plans, some of whom are bound to be your members who've been with us for years because they trust you to help them live healthier lives. We hear stories from these same people who said the customer service from the company they used to be with was terrible. I've had a few agents recently tell me that prospects who didn't roll with us initially and were approached by the competition who went down that trash talking road, they were turned off by this. And they called us back to enroll in a higher cost plan in our portfolio because of the trust, professionalism, and the reputation for enhanced member experiences that they've had or they've heard about from some of their friends. Number 2, trigger points. Created in the customer's mind that brings them back to UHC gives you a chance to tout the security and experience United Healthcare provides over the long haul. Let me take you back to 1997, when the Mars candy bar had a huge uptick in sales. The company wasn't spending any money on extra advertising or promotions, but sales saw a significant jump that year. Anyone guess why?
Mars Lane.
That's right. That was the year the NASA Pathfinder was zooming toward Mars to take pictures of the planet. There were daily newspaper stories and television coverage of Mars, and that triggered people's natural subliminal reaction. You know, I haven't had a Mars bar in a while. I think I'm going to go get one at the store since the country's seen all these pictures of Mars. Don't you think we can tout our differentiated member experience you've seen firsthand in the field and watched today as a trigger to promote to beneficiaries turning 65 or looking at their 2018 Medicare Advantage insurance options this fall? Number 3, emotion. Let's tap into that reservoir that creates good feelings and tugs at the heartstrings to build relationships that lead to trust, that lead to sales of our products. The tip of the day is, when we care, we share. Remember a few years back when you saw that YouTube video of this poor old lady that comes out meekly and tells you, "I'm going to sing I Have a Dream." Then the song starts and builds, and when Susan Boyle hits all those high notes and chills go up your spine and tears start streaming down your face, they did for me anyway, you realize that she grabbed our emotions. She held on to her dreams and sang with everything she had, and over that top passion was real in that moment. Posted on YouTube, there were over 100 million views. That's viral marketing. That's friends sharing with friends. There's no reason why we can't help the people we serve in upstate New York feel great about the company and the products we represent, but we've got to get our feelings right. We've got to be believable, which means we have to believe what we've got is worth having, worth keeping. Remember, beneficiaries believe what you say to them. So even though the competition is coming after us big time this fall, Cheryl showed you the target on our backs, right? They're tired of getting their butts kicked in the Medicare marketplace, as we heard, to the tune of 70% of the new Advantage plans in 2017 were recorded by United Healthcare. So whether you truly believe these are competitive products you can sell or believe you can't sell them, either way, you're right. You've got to make the first sale to yourself internally. You get your feelings right and project that passionate belief to the consumers you see each day, this AEP, then they'll jump on your bandwagon and the premium hikes and some higher copays aren't going to matter. Number 4, practical value. Beyond the benefits of our plans, are you touting the healthcare feel-good experience for our members? Because that's what separates our product from the crowd of competing plans. One more YouTube example for you here to illustrate the point. Maybe some of you recall seeing an 86-year-old guy named Ken Craig in his daughter's kitchen giving a short instructional tutorial on shucking corn on the cob. After you place the corn with the husk on in the microwave for 4 minutes on high, take it out, the husk falls off, including those annoying yellow strings inside the husk. Perfect corn on the cob, no hairs. In 1 week, over 5 million views because people who saw it said to themselves, "That's a great idea." And they either shared it with their friends or were already using that little microwave trick, but had never shared it before. So they shared it with their friends, who shared it with their friends, all the way to 5 million shares. Number 5, stories. You know this. You've seen it illustrated numerous times during our kickoff meeting today. Many of you are sharing stories yourselves about that you witness out in the field from members who wanted to share a positive experience with you about United because you're their trusted agents. Stories carry morals, and these lessons embed our product message around a differentiated member experience in a bigger way. You know the old sales adage, facts tell, but stories sell. Said a little differently, never let the facts get in the way of a good story. Now, don't go misinterpreting what I'm saying here and think, Ken's telling me it's okay to not be compliant and distort the truth. That's not it at all. It's about your belief in United Healthcare and our 2018 suite of Medicare portfolio products, Advantage, AARP Med Sups, and drug cards. And that translates to passionate promotion and providing practical perspective to our prospects. So over the last few years, we've all heard United's corporate message about delivering holistic value to our members. I looked up Webster's dictionary definition of holistic. It's interacting as a whole rather than independent particles. And I cross-checked with the 21st Century Electronic Dictionary, Wikipedia, for the phrase holistic community. Wikipedia states, and this is framed in a scientific ecology format, one where the species within the community are interdependent on each other for keeping balance and stability of the system. So framed in a Medicare insurance format, It's not as the competition defaults to, by aggressively pushing for the sale because their plan's inpatient per day hospital copay is $100 less than our PPO plan, or that $1,000 worth of preventative and basic non-surgical dental coverage is included in their plan that costs less than our $77 plan 4 that now you got to spend an extra $39 a month on to get the Platinum Rider. That's the old school benefits puke, guilting beneficiaries into saving a few bucks on their local PPO or HMO plans that are specifically designed to compete with our regional PPO plans. And you know they still allow for true freedom and flexibility to access care in and out of network anywhere in the country. Ask yourselves, if I move benefits comparison down the priority list during your consultative assessments with prospects, would your personal belief level in United products in delivering a quality experience go up? Do you have the guts to ask prospects tough questions around what they want out of a healthcare plan beyond saving money? Is that the only comfort zone you're willing to stay in? How about talking about engaging some personal learning and self-accountability to earn those residuals that you've been blessed with instead of, and if the shoe fits, wear it, just kind of expecting them? As a lifelong New York Giants fan, I'll admit I'm cringing at this parallel point, but I'm going to make it right now anyway. Did the New England Patriots fold up tent and quit in the Super Bowl back in February after falling behind the Atlanta Falcons 28-3 midway through the third quarter? Absolutely not. They kept believing in themselves and their ability to come back and win. Our Medicare playing field, guys and gals, is no different. We're going to have to absorb the competition's best shots this fall. We know they'd be coming after us because we've been so dominant the last 2 years, and a three-peat is hard, just like you heard Cheryl say. History shows only the Green Bay Packers in football, the New York Yankees in baseball, and the Boston Celtics, LA Lakers, and Chicago Bulls in basketball have won back-to-back championships. We're more than a health care plan. We're becoming what I call a HELP, H-E-L-P, care plan. We serve beneficiaries to earn their trust to join a company they believe will make a meaningful experience in living healthier lives. That's our mission. And their overall well-being by empowering these consumers to make better decisions about their health, that's our vision. So how do we deliver? By creating the most trusting, enduring connections between consumers, care providers, employees, and all of you. You're the trusted agents to achieve the best health outcomes. They trust you. They trust better health outcomes because you tell them so, and the cost of care and experience that you help them achieve. Now, we're not there yet. We know this. United's outgoing CEO, now chairman of the board, Steve Hemsley, told the Medicare and retirement team at last month's national sales meeting in Indianapolis that we need to continue to deliver on all of those distinction drivers to improve our standing and stature in the Medicare marketplace. At age 65 and recently characterized in Fortune magazine as the most successful CEO of our generation, Hemsley emphasized that beneficiary trust is critical and that we here, all of us, are responsible for the people we serve. He reminded leaders that ambition to grow must be carried out in a servant way, not an arrogant way. So check this out. He even identified an internal opioid problem from studying data of prescribing habits of doctors. He wants 300 docs thrown out of United's Medicare network that he says are excessively prescribing these medications. What's the bottom line? Hemsley says we need to own these problems. While Steve isn't exactly an outgoing, passionate public speaker, the leaders in the room could sense his internal passion when he told us, quote, "We are going to become the solution for healthcare in the marketplace." So, look, we've seen the recent devastation wrought in Texas and Florida by Hurricanes Harvey and Irma. There have been some amazing stories about how United went above and beyond to get medically needy and displaced members the life-saving prescription drugs they needed when the flooded pharmacies weren't able to. Now, while we can't control what happens to us, we can control what our response is in the face of adversity. While many of you, veterans and agents, might feel we're in the eye of the Medicare storm this AEP, hoping to survive and maintain your books of business and not get devastated like the Florida Keys, I still submit to you that those fears in many cases are self-made. They're your perspective. But that's not what your members and prospects will see. If you paint a different picture around holistic value, exceptional member experience, and those stories you need to constantly share. They trust you. Do you trust where United Healthcare is going long-term, even though you're uncomfortable with the short-term premium hikes we're seeing in 2018? Now that the shoe's on the other foot, creating some internal fear, after leveraging our premium benefits competitive advantage for years, are you ready to cross over to the other side of the bridge and build trust on relationships and enduring connections with the beneficiaries we serve? You know what fear really is? Here's the acronym: false evidence appearing real. I know that this sounds difficult, but look, we just got to start talking to ourselves in a whole different way and not worry about what the competition's doing this fall. In a recent leadership talk given by Success Magazine top 20 leadership expert Orrin Woodward, he referenced a book by Gary Hamel called Future Management, with the basic premise that the very paradigms that created growth and wealth for companies like ours, and as you agents the last 10 years, are holding back the next explosion. New innovations, Hamel says, are more important than doing what we've been doing better. So in a normal corporate environment, there's little opportunity for human creativity. But we all know that great ideas can come from anyone. United is giving us a voice now about a chance to share our field interactions with members at broker roundtables that some of you have been to. And they're listening more to what we're saying now, much more than they were 5 years ago. And when you mesh that leadership and culture in a big company, in your professional networks, or even with your family, you create a lasting advantage. So I will leave you with this. How can we individually and collectively improve daily? How can we add value to prospects and members we serve to make United Healthcare better? There's 4 questions you really need to ask yourselves. Number 1, what's the tomorrow problem that needs to be worked on today? Remember when record companies were suing broke college kids years ago for downloading songs off the internet instead of buying CDs? The record companies wanted to get paid for the music rights. Kids just wanted to download the songs. Who facilitated a compromise that changed the face of how we listen to music forever? Steve Jobs made an outrageous proposition to the record companies. Charged 99 cents for downloading a song, and that led to the creation of a billion-dollar company called Apple Music. Number 2, what is the frustrating either-or problem that needs to be solved with an and answer? For us in the Medicare space at United, perhaps a long-term solution to the game-changer question is, can we get to 4 stars with our regional PPO plan in upstate New York and financially invest in adding a few key hospitals and large specialty groups that have always been out of network? I don't know. We're going to find out. Number 3, what is the biggest gap between our company's rhetoric and our company's reality? You've seen the Shield touting United's strength, stability, hassle-free mantra. We all know we're solid on the first 2. Fortune 6 company, strong. We got a seat at the CMS table in Washington, D.C. Stable, upstate New York. Medicare Advantage member growth from a few hundred a decade ago to more than 110,000 RPPO members today. Hassle-free? Nope, we're not there yet. Look, we've acknowledged that. We're taking steps to close those gaps, including provider network inaccuracies, gaps that don't show us as in network, and even billing issues that some of you know that have taken months instead of weeks to resolve. Number 4, what's the absolute can't-do issue that needs to be attacked to produce a can-do answer? Maybe it's around better ways to contract providers that lean more on developing relationships instead of executing transactions. Maybe it's doing even more to get to that elusive 4-star rating to become eligible for additional government reimbursement dollars a few years down the road. Maybe you've got a can't-do issue that you want to share at some point. You know, when you look down at the word impossible from a different lens, it translates to I'm possible. Remember the old adage, the only stupid question is the one you don't ask? Asking those kinds of basic questions often leads to impossible solutions. That's why Google allows its employees to spend 10% of their time each day, about an hour, working on any idea, no matter how outrageous, out of the box, or convoluted it might seem. In the Summer Olympics back in 1968, there was a guy who competed in the high jump who broke all conventional rules on how to jump over the bar. Most high jumpers would run up to the bar, leap forward with one foot straddling the bar and pull the back foot over. And 6'4" Dick Fosbury, who was just 21 at the time from Oregon, he won the gold medal and set an Olympic record in the Mexico City Games, high jumping 7 feet 4 1/4 inches. It was the international debut of Fosbury's unique jumping style known as the Fosbury flop. One journalist wrote that the flop looks like a guy falling off the back of a truck. Instead of the traditional straddle-style forward kick over the bar, it featured a mid-air rotation so that the jumper lands first with his back of the head on the mat. Fosbury described it this way: I turned my back to the bar, arched my back over the bar, and kicked my legs out to clear the bar. He invented the flop in high school and was encouraged by his coach to work on the odd technique to see if he could jump higher. After his Olympic success, Fosbury said, I don't recommend my style to anyone, but if a kid can't straddle the bar, he can try it my way. Of course, with every new idea, there are the naysayers, the critics who try to shoot it down. Even then, U.S. Olympic track coach Pat Jordan warned the Fosbury flop could wipe out an entire generation of high jumpers because they'll all have broken necks. But the flop soon became standard practice at track meets. Since 1980, no elite high jumper using any other technique has held the world record, and the current world record high jump is held by 6'5" Cuban Javier Sotomayor, who jumped 8 feet 1/4 inch back in 1993. So as we head into the 2018 AEP selling season this fall, I challenge you to lead with your heart and risk landing head first by approaching Medicare prospects and your members this fall with an out-of-the-box, passionate, holistic approach that focuses on raising the bar and elevating our future members' experience with United Healthcare. Remember, we're the industry leader that serves 1 in 5 beneficiaries. Are you willing to let go of, flush, destroy that old spreadsheet straddle method of comparing plan features and benefits? Are you ready to engage in a different kind of serve and volley than what we just saw at the New York City recently completed U.S. Open Tennis Championships? On the tennis court, serve and volley is aggressively charging the net to try to gain control, put away your opponent by a quick stab volley he or she can't return. On the Medicare court, serve and volley means putting the prospect first, listening to his or her needs, and passionately offering a choice of United Healthcare plans that will help change a life for the better through exceptional member experiences that in 2017 alone translate to 500,000 handwritten notes sent to our members by our customer service team. Are you willing to build your trust foundation by giving up the benefits tap dance with prospects and engaging what author Charles Swindoll calls improving your serve? In that aptly titled book, Swindoll talks about genuine humility being your operational guide. You got nothing to prove, nothing to lose by being honest and transparent, having an authentic desire to help others, which I know most of you do. And that's even to the point of staying in touch with the struggles that others might experience and share with you. So, you've got social currency. You've got Mars bar triggers. You've got the Susan Boyle make your hair stand up emotions. You've got great shuck the corn clean off and the microwave value. And you got heartfelt personal stories. And those from your peers that you can share when doing the hand-holding necessary to build trust into new relationships with new members that builds on the legacy of the company's success and it builds on your personal success. The I love what I do to help these people's success. and it leads to your financial success. That residuals that can grow to six figures by helping others get that memorable $120 Philly cheesesteak experience, so they refer their friends to you so you can help them align with the health care, check that health care plan that they need, and the differentiated health care experience that they deserve through United. Let's charge up the competitive hill this fall, ready to slay our own personal dragons so we can embrace the distinctive vision and show the path for consumers to radically change how healthcare is delivered here and delivered in America. United, we stand. Thanks very much. God bless you.